Hello, everyone. I'm back. Hello, Theory. Hello, Rana and Isla. Hello, Ellie and Sans and Bernice. And Monica. Hello. Were you guys on my voice room? Good. All right, well, here I am again. See, I told you I'd be right back. I was doing a test. I wanted to test to see why do so many people go to the to the voice streams, but not many people go to the live streams. Why? I don't understand it. Why are you afraid of the camera? What is going on? So I thought I'd start with a voice stream and then tell you all, hey, if you want help, come to my live stream. The voice room is still open. It can't be. How's that possible? Huh? Wait a minute. That can't be right. Sorry about that. Yeah, I had to go. I guess it didn't close. That's weird. Sorry about that. Mahmoud, thank you for telling me that. I didn't know. That's weird. Thank you, Rana. Yeah, thank you, Zoe. Weird. I don't know why it didn't close. It should have closed. I didn't know. I certainly didn't know you can have a voice stream and a live stream at the same time. That's interesting. I don't know how you can do that, but apparently I was. I'm going to have to tell them that's a little bit of a problem. Hello, Sebastian. Okay, so raise your hand if you want to come talk to me now. Raise your hand. Let's see, we've got Mahmoud. Oh, excuse me. Mahmoud, did you want to come talk to me? Hello, hello. All right, well, I'm waiting for your questions. So if you want to write your questions here in the chat, I'll answer them. If you want to raise your hand and come on stage, I'll answer them. You don't have to turn on your camera if you don't want to. There is no difference. No, you don't have to, Mahmoud. Many people come to the live stream and they come on my stage and they just don't turn on the camera. That's all. Or they turn the camera off, I should say. Okay, so you know, it's no different than the voice room. It's no different. You don't have to have the camera on. It would be nice. I prefer if I can see somebody. I like to see who I'm talking to. It's nicer for me when I can feel like I'm actually talking to a real person in the world. That's cool. But it's okay if you're not able to. You can't join. Let me try again. Thank you, Sebastian. You love English so much, you hope you can learn English. Can I help you? I can help you the way I help 77,000 other people here, Fatima. Okay, follow me here. 77,000 people follow me to get tips about English just like you want. Okay, they all want to learn English too. All right? Sometimes you feel like you go in circles while speaking. What should you do? What do you mean when you say you go around in circles? You go in circles like you repeat yourself? Do it again. Okay, let me try one more time, Mahmoud. You repeat yourself. All right, let me turn off your camera for you there. There you go, Mahmoud. It's off.
Turn it off.
All right, cool.
Hey, Mr. Mark.
Hello. Give me 1 second to answer this question here from who was it, Rana, and then I'll get to you. Okay. So,
Yeah, sure.
Rana, if you repeat yourself every once in a while, sometimes that's normal. That's part of conversation to some degree. Can you give me a better example of exactly how you repeat yourself? Because it kind of matters exactly what you're doing. If you can give me a better example, then I can probably tell you what to do. But it's hard because really everybody does this to some degree. Everybody repeats themselves to some degree. And sometimes it's actually a good thing for clarity. It's not a bad thing always. Sometimes it's a good thing to make sure everybody understands each other clearly, so you repeat yourself a little bit more. I have to do it as a teacher a lot. When I'm not sure if my students are listening, I will say the same thing 5 different ways so that they will hear at least one of them, right? So sometimes repetition is a good way. It's a good communication tool, depending, okay? Mahmoud, what can I do for you, my friend?
I would like to ask you, how can I use this word, was it though, although, and even though?
Though, although, and even though. So technically you can use any one of those at any point in time interchangeably, right? So, though I wanted to go to Harvard, I couldn't afford the tuition. Although I wanted to go to Harvard, I couldn't afford the tuition. Now, although sometimes is, if I were starting a sentence, starting a paragraph, though would be the one I would start with more likely, but that's not a rule. That's the beauty of language. It's an art, right? So you might think although sounds better. So you try that one, right? And even though, same thing, right? So Mahmoud, language is an art, and the beauty of English is the subtleties of the similarities of and the variations of words. So that means that we have many, many, many words that mean exactly the same thing or almost the same thing, or they mean the exact same thing some of the time, but almost the same thing other times, right? So that's what makes it cool, because that means everybody has their own select words that they choose that becomes their way of speaking. Right? They have words that they're the ones, these are the words I choose, right? Learning a language is a lot like being a musician. And the ultimate goal of being a musician is to have your own voice, right? So you study many other people before you. You study many masters, and you study what they did, and you mimic what they did to try to learn what great things that they did. But eventually all of your influences come together into one, and that becomes you. And that's the same as English or any other language. You have influences, and then you become yourself, right? So whichever one you want to use is completely fine. Though, although, and even though. These are all Old English words. Any of the OUGH words. It's funny, Mahmoud, because actually the reason why it's a weird word is because the pronunciation changed a long time ago. The pronunciation of that word, though, used to be the. right? So like your name, I could be wrong, but is the pronunciation supposed to be Mahmoud with a little, right?
No.
No? Okay, well, some people do, yeah?
I mean, yeah, sometimes.
Right,
yeah.
right. Okay, so that sound, we used to have that sound in English. We just don't anymore. And it was a German thing. It was like a Hebrew Germanic kind of a, not Hebrew, but it was Germanic. It was a Germanic thing because remember, English is a Germanic language, right? So we used to have that sound. And so for many, many years, people who were writing things down didn't know how to write that sound. How do we write that? What letters do we use? Do we use PH, GH, TH, FH? What is it? And they struggled. They didn't know which one to choose for a long time. Eventually, they decided GH was the closest they could come to that sound. But eventually, we kind of dropped that sound from the language, but we kept the spelling the same. So that's the reason why we still spell it that way, but we don't pronounce it that way anymore, and everybody's confused. Like, why do we have so many silent letters? Well, they didn't used to be silent. there was a pronunciation a long time ago, but we just don't do it anymore. Language changed many, many times over the years. The language has changed.
Well, for the word though, I mean, when I listen to people who speak English, they use though at the last of the word. Like,
Yeah,
for example,
that's a
"I don't
different
like it,
way of
though."
doing it. Yeah, that's a different way. That's what I call contradictory, though. Right? So we use that at the end of a sentence. When we're saying two things that are kind of against each other, right, contradictory to each other, then we'll use the word though at the end to kind of soften it. Because if you don't, then sometimes it can sound a bit harsh, right? So, for example, maybe you're at your friend's house and they ask you if you want some ice cream. And you say, sure, I'd like some. And they say, we have chocolate and vanilla. Which one do you want? And then you say, I like chocolate, but I don't like vanilla. And if you say it just like that, it sounds a little weird. Like it kind of feels like you're not stating your preference. You're almost saying it like a command. Like, I will not have other than the one I like. But when you put the word though on the end of it, it softens it in this way. That's like, I like chocolate, but I don't like vanilla though. Right? So it adds to the contradiction, right? You have two things. I like chocolate, but I don't like blah, 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 though. I want to go to the park.
I heard that I can delete the word but. Like, I don't like chocolate. I like strawberries though. Is that, I mean... right?
Yeah, you can. You certainly can. Yeah, but that would be two different sentences. But is a linking word. It's a connecting word between two ideas. Right? So you could write them as two sentences. I like chocolate. I don't like vanilla. That's two sentences. Instead of...
I mean, for those two sentences, I can use the three word that I told you, even though, although, and though.
Let me think. You mean in the middle or at the end?
I mean, everywhere in the beginning, in the middle, maybe also in the last of the
Okay,
sentence.
at the end, we definitely only use the word though. Okay, only though. There's no even though or although at the end. Okay, at least not that I can think of off the top of my head. And the even though and although and though could all start the sentence. Could. Okay. In the middle, I like chocolate, even though I don't like vanilla. You could, but that one isn't necessarily as smooth sounding as though I don't like vanilla. But again, that's just in my mind. That's not a rule. That's a preference. So someone else might think although or even though is the better one. There is no rule in that. As absolutely what we call artist's choice. And you're the artist, so choose.
Exactly.
Okay?
Okay.
So
That's the Mr. Teacher, or Mr. Mark.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, you can call me whatever, man. I'm not fancy. Don't worry. So, Mahmoud, you're doing fine. The questions you're answering, or you're asking, I should say, are advanced questions. So don't, that's a good thing. You're asking advanced questions, which means that you're at a good level. that's when you're at this level, that's when it's fun because you can actually play with the language, and that's when it becomes fun. Okay?
Okay.
All right, my friend. You're doing good. Come back and see me again sometime, okay?
Sure.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right.
All right, let me see. Let me check the comments here. So, Hajar, I'm going to have to say goodbye because you're being rude. Somebody asked you not to write it a bunch of times, and you keep writing it. Hajar, why would you do that? Everybody wants to learn. Why are you special? Be patient or be gone. Understand? I will not help you if you will not be patient. I have no patience for those with no patience. Okay? I have a lot of people to help. 77,000. Okay? You have to just be patient. Dean, it's not that I'm a teacher. Part of teaching is telling people, hey, behave. Sit down. Be quiet. Pay attention. Listen. Don't be rude. It's part of being a teacher. You thought you haven't seen my comment. Well, everybody else told you that you shouldn't do that, though, didn't they? So relax, okay? Start again. Be patient, though, okay? We can start over. We don't have to make this awkward. We can start over. But in the future, Hajar, when you join someone's live stream, if you keep typing the comment over and over again, it just looks rude. It doesn't look like you're like trying to be nice. It looks rude, okay? That's not going to help you get help. All right, if you want help, that's not the way to do it. All right? All right, let's get to the next person. Dean wants to come talk to me. Dean, I think I remember you. I'm not sure. Maybe. Hello, Dean.
Hello, Mr. Mark. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. How are you?
My voice is clear right now, or it's very bad?
No, it sounds good.
Yeah, I just mentioned the comment section. Do you remind me or not? I think you remind me because the voice.
Say it one more time. I'm sorry. I need to clear up your voice just a little bit. There we go. Try again.
I just mentioned that comment section. Do you remind me or not? But I think you remind me because
I remember you. Sure. Yeah, but we don't say, do you remind me? We say, do you remember me?
But remember is like basic form.
Yes, but remind would be the wrong form to use in that case, okay? If I say, I will remind you, or he reminds me of someone, that's like, I see someone and I think, oh, he looks like my friend, right? So when we use it in this form, you definitely want to say, do you remember me? He remembers me. Yeah, not remind. Okay.
So I don't know which question can I ask you. Maybe you can ask me something and I can answer you, because I don't have any more to ask something. That's why I just came to your live stream, just make a conversation and improve my English skills as well.
Okay. Again, when people tell me that, the first thing I say is, what's the problem though? What do you struggle with, Dean?
Maybe you can speak Chinese. May I share you something in Chinese language if you don't mind?
I'd rather not, because I'm here to teach English, and I don't want to confuse people who are joining my stream with us starting to teach, speak in Chinese. That'll just make my audience want to leave.
No, I would say just it's not a sentence. It's just a one word.
Okay.
But I would like to sure about this word.
Okay.
What's the meaning of this word?
Okay.
I translate this word, which is a meaning in English, where, but it's also meaning you are too kind. So what's the word?
It means you are too kind?
Yeah, yeah, but if you translate in English, you will see that the meaning of in English where.
Oh, nali nali.
Yeah, nali nali. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we say if someone gives you a compliment, then you say, "Oh, nali nali." Okay, it means
Okay.
yeah, it's like when someone gives us a compliment in English, right? They say, "Oh, he's the best teacher ever." And I go like this. "Huh? What? Who? Who, me?" You know, like we do the same thing, but in Chinese they just say "nali nali," which means where? Like same thing. Like, "Oh, it can't be me. You must be talking about someone else."
I think it's also the same thing like bambanda.
Like what?
Bambanda, like ni bambanda. Can we say it?
Ni
Or
bang
instead of-
bangda? Well, no. If you say ni bang bangda, you're just saying you're cool, you're amazing. Ni henli hai.
okay.
Yeah, ni tai bangla. That just means you're cool, you're awesome, that's great. Yeah.
Okay,
So
okay.
if you say that to me, then I might say back to you, nali nali.
Okay, Vopinbai. Okay. So I just have a question for you. It's about idioms.
Okay.
I think I can say, is it necessary to learn idioms for IELTS exam?
Yes.
Because like I start to learn. Sometimes I don't remember the idioms, but I have a interesting method to learn idioms. Like I can describe with photos. Like for example, a piece of cake. Its meaning like it's so easy or that like completely easy. And I just memorize cake and like I don't know how to tell you.
Okay.
Like, for example, if I eat cake easily, so it means that I'm doing
Right,
like,
and that's one way to do
basic-
it. Sure, you can do it that way. That's memory tricks, right? But guess what, Dean? There's a much easier way to remember idioms. Almost every single idiom has an interesting story about where it comes from, and if you just figure out the interesting story, then you will remember it. For example, the cake, it's a piece of cake. Piece of cake comes from American history a long time ago in America during the slave era, right? When we had slaves here. One of the crazy, weird things that the rich slave owners would do is they'd have these big parties. It was called a cakewalk party. And they would make the slaves dance with a cake, like in these weird dances and whatever. And they would win a cake. And so it was easy as winning a cake from a dance. That's where it's a stupid thing, but it was like these silly dances that weren't hard to do or something, but it was to make fun of the slaves, right? It was a rude thing. It was not cool, right? So now you'll remember it because that's a messed up story, but it's a good story. Now you know the history of it, right? So a piece of cake has actually got a really, really dark history. And there are a lot of them that are like that, actually. Bite the bullet. Have you ever heard bite the bullet? You need to bite the bullet means you need to be serious. You need to face the problem, right? That's what it means, is to face the problem. But do you know where it comes from?
I just know it's an idiom. I don't know where it's come from.
Right. So this one also comes from a long time ago in American history, or actually even before American history, any time when they were using bullets, but probably early American history is when it was most common. And what happened was sometimes you get injured on the battlefield, right? And let's say you get shot in the arm and the bullet goes through your arm. Do you know what they used to do to your arm back then if you got shot in the arm like that?
I'm sorry, I don't know.
They would cut your arm off. They don't have surgery. You're on a battlefield. So now let me ask you a question. If you're on the battlefield and they're cutting your arm off with a saw, it's gonna hurt, right? And they don't have any drugs to help you. Do you know what they used to do when they would cut your arm off? Here's what they would do. First, they would give you a bunch of alcohol to help you to try to get drunk so that you wouldn't feel so much. Second, they would give you something to put between your teeth because it's gonna hurt and you're gonna bite down, right? So they would give you your belt. Maybe they'd give you your belt and you'd put the leather belt between your teeth and bite down because they're going to cut your arm off, or they would use a bullet, because a bullet a long time ago was made of the metal lead, L-E-A-D, lead. And lead is a soft metal. So if you actually chew it, your teeth will bite into it. It'll put an impression of your teeth in the bullet. So that's what they would do, is they would give somebody a bullet to put between their teeth when they were doing something like surgery, like cutting off your arm. That's where the term bite the bullet comes from. So they're about to cut off your arm. They give you a bullet. So you are biting the bullet, right? So now it means to face the problem, right, head on.
Let me ask you the next question. What's the meaning of this idiom? To put all your eggs in one basket.
Oh, that
Because
just
it's a
means
crazy idiom for me.
that means you only have one plan, that you don't have a backup plan. You're doing everything with one idea and you have no backup plan. That's all that means. So if you're carrying all your eggs in one basket and you fall and that basket hits the ground, now all of your eggs are broken. But if you have two baskets, then maybe some of your eggs are broken and some of them are fine. It's that simple. When you put all your eggs in one basket, you risk everything on one plan.
But I think it depends on situation, maybe.
No, that's the meaning. That is the meaning. Dean, like I said, Dean, these are not up for interpretation. And the reason why is because all of these, Dean, have a history. And all you have to do is look it up. Okay. And there's a website you can go to. It's called theidioms.com. Theidioms.com. It's not my favorite website, but it's a good place to start. And they have idioms that you can look up. And yes, they even have the history with the story of where it comes from too. Right? And that's all you need to know. Find the idiom, read what it means, then find where it comes from, and you'll remember the stories. Okay?
Yeah.
So for example, Dean, do you know the idiom, let the cat out of the bag?
I think it's like it's announcing the secret.
Yeah, that's right. It means you're telling a secret that's supposed to be kept. But there's another idiom. It's called to buy a pig in a poke. To buy a pig in a poke.
Yes. It's like something can be rarely or not. I'm not sure.
It means that you bought something, but you didn't look carefully at it before you bought it, so you might have gotten tricked. Right? So if you buy something from the internet and you paid, oh, look, there's a brand new iPhone 16 for only $100. Amazing. And you buy it and you send them $100 and then they send you the box and you open it up and inside there's a rock. You didn't check, you didn't do your proper, what we call due diligence, which means to look carefully, right? So here's the thing. Those two idioms are actually related. Okay, so a long time ago, let's say you're in Europe, a long time ago, it's the 1500s, and you want to go to the market because you want to buy something for dinner. And one of the most common things they used to sell for dinner in the markets was they would sell baby pigs. A baby pig that's alive, they put them in a bag, and they keep them in the bag, and then you come to the market, give them some money, and they give you a bag, and you've got your pig to go home and cook. Okay? But sometimes you're in a rush. One day you're in a rush and you run down there and you give the guy the money and he gives you a bag and you run home and you think, I'm going to cook this pig for dinner for my family. And you open the bag. Oh, but no, he tricked you. There's a cat in there, not a pig. And now the secret is out. So the cat is out of the bag.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so those two are related. If you bought a pig in a poke, it means you tried to buy a pig, but you didn't look carefully, so they sold you a cat and tricked you. And when you get home and you open it up, now the cat is out of the bag.
Yeah. I'd like to share something. I have a question for you. For example, if a person who just came across Americans, what that person would like to do? Of course, like to practice, right?
If a person came across an American, what do you mean?
Like Americans, sometimes people want to learn English with Americans, but I don't learn English with Americans. When I say Americans and on Tandem application, and most of Americans can speak Chinese fluently. I would say I've learned a lot of information. Like I would say sometimes I practice my Chinese with Americans, and sometimes like on Tandem application, it's a good application to improve your language skills. But on Tandem, like Chinese people cannot speak English fluently. Like they
Okay.
can speak just beginner form. But I would say like Americans, like they just have a strong accent in Chinese. So I would say it's an effective way to improve my Chinese skills more than
Maybe.
English, because I don't need to learn English.
However, Dean, two things. One, most Americans definitely do not know Chinese. It's one of the least popular languages here because it's so difficult. Okay, Spanish is the number one language in the United States, after English, of course. But as far as your idea about learning Chinese from Americans, I think that's a very, very... I don't think I would agree with that most of the time. I think that would only be something I would suggest if that person had exceptional Chinese. Okay? If you're going to learn Chinese, man, it is better to learn it from a Chinese person for sure. It is. Now, however, Dean, that being said, let me put it to you this way. I can tell that there are many things that I could tell you as an American who's studied Chinese that would help you a lot. Like things that a Chinese person might not know. Because as a non-native learner, maybe I might have some things that could help you. But what I'm telling you, though, Dean, is I'm a teacher. That's different than asking just some guy who's learning Chinese. Okay, I don't think I would take advice from just random people. Guys, you're on the internet. You need to be more careful about where you get your information from. Don't just ask some guy. Don't just ask some girl. Find out who knows the answers and ask them. Okay? You guys need to learn how to be more particular with who you talk to and who you look up to and who you are influenced by. Right? Not everybody is a good influence. Not everybody is something that you want to be influenced by. So maybe your idea could work for some things, Dean. But Dean, I studied Chinese mostly myself. Okay. But you know what? I'm really glad I did. When I was living in Taiwan, I did go to a university there for 6 months. And every day we had intense classes, like 4-hour classes that were really hard. And I studied my ass off for 6 months at a university in Taiwan. So that pushed me, and I'm glad I did it. And I was learning from a Chinese teacher who was really well trained to teach foreigners this language. So your best bet would be to study with a Chinese teacher who knows how to teach foreigners. And I don't know if you know this, Dean, but actually that's a thing. If you study Chinese in China, you can be a Chinese teacher for Chinese people, or you can be a Chinese people for non-Chinese people, just like I can be an English teacher for non-natives, and there are other English teachers for natives, right? I am not a native English teacher. I'm a non-native English teacher, meaning I teach non-natives.
May I say something?
Sure.
But before, I didn't judge any Chinese people. I just thought that like Chinese people, of course, it's their native language. But here's the problem that like most of like Chinese people on this application, they cannot speak fluently. In my case, but I've never seen a person who can speak Chinese fluently. Like, but in YouTube or Instagram, like. I've joined a lot of Chinese people live stream to improve my Chinese skills, and I follow on Instagram page like lots of natives and who can speak English fluently, can speak Chinese fluently, and but I would like to remind yourself like some Americans like can make mistakes. For example, I have an American friend and he comes from Tandem, and I asked like how can you say how are you in Chinese? You know what he said? He just told me that you can say how are you, ni hao ma, but ni hao ma it doesn't mean
right.
how are you.
Okay.
It's,
Yeah.
it's
Again,
not for,
Dean,
dialogue.
Dean, your Chinese is impressive, but you're still learning. Okay. So am I. So am I.
Of course.
But you need to find better sources to learn from. You're asking random people, man. You stop that. Don't do that anymore. Don't just ask some guy. You ask some guy, and of course he said ni hao ma instead of Nina. But if you ask the right Chinese person, they will be able to speak in English well, and they'll be able to explain things to you well. Okay? But you have to find a good one. Don't just talk, diamonds don't come on the ground. You have to dig. Right? So you can't expect to find just something great, just oh, look, there's a diamond. Amazing. It's just sitting there on the ground. How'd that happen? Doesn't happen. You got to search for it. Okay, so if you want to find somebody who's valuable for your learning, you got to search for it. And it sounds like you're just picking up the dirt, man. Don't pick up the dirt.
Yeah.
Okay? Don't pick up the dirt.
I would say in my country, most of Azerbaijanis cannot speak Chinese. They just pay attention to Russian and English, but
Sure.
most of them can
And
speak
again,
Russian.
like I said, most Americans do
I would
not
feel
know
like-
Chinese.
Yeah.
But the
That's
ones
why
who
I
are
would feel
on
like-
there, again, practicing Chinese is hard for natives here, right? So they get on to Hello Talk because it gives them a chance to practice Chinese. So the reason why you think there's a lot of Americans who speak Chinese is because there's a lot of Americans who speak Chinese on this app. But that has nothing to do with the number of Americans who actually speak Chinese. That's a very low number. Okay. So, Dean, I got to let you go because I got to get to somebody else here today. But keep working on it, man. Keep working on it. And again, I'm really glad that I decided to go to study with a real teacher in a real school that could really show me a bunch of things that I needed to know. And I think you're at that same place, Dean. You've learned a lot by yourself, but now you actually need real guidance, my friend. You need real guidance, someone whose job it is to tell you what's important, okay?
Mr. Mark, let me give you this last compliment for you, but it will be Chinese language.
Okay.
Nishigaharan.
Okay, slow down when you speak Chinese and
Okay. I'm so sorry.
okay, 你是的
No, Nishigaharan. It means you are a good person. Nishigaharan. Like, I don't know.
Okay,
like,
Haoren, I know what Haoren is. Yeah,
Good.
good man.
Good.
Yeah, good person. But what's the first part you're trying to say?
Oh, I just use it like this one, like ni hen hao. The same meaning can
Right.
be.
Yeah, ni hen hao.
Nishigaharan.
Yeah, you can say ni hen li hai, ni hen bang, ni 我觉得你很酷. You can say many things, but I think you need to start with some simple things. Start with more simple things. Don't try to impress people with your language. Try to impress yourself.
可以啊。
Okay? Yeah, 可以啊。
可以啊。
可以啊，加油。Okay? 熟能生巧啊。Okay? 每天你需要想一想，今天我需要做什么？今天我是你每天 every day 每天你需要you need to 想一想 think about 今天 today 我需要做什么I need to do what what should I study okay think about it
我不会是中文。
OK
我不会是中文。
你可以啊，可是中文就是很难的。Okay, means it's very hard. It's very difficult. It takes time. Okay, and Dean, I was just like you. For the first 5 years that I learned Chinese, when I spoke Chinese, most people couldn't understand me. So I will tell you, just keep at it, slow down, and try to make each word. Remember each word. Dean, if you say 我要睡觉, that means I want sleep. If you say 我要睡觉, that means I want dumplings. So you gotta get your tones right. You gotta make sure you get your tones right. Okay, but if you go too fast, then your tones don't come out right. Okay.
Yeah. Let me tell you first, like, you will see, like, Chinese has 4 tones, but one day I will practice you, but it's not a judgment for you. I think I will be better than you in Chinese. In
I hope
English,
so.
Like, it's impossible.
Okay, that's great. I hope
English
that's true. I hope that's true. Okay, I welcome the challenge. Okay, all right, keep working on it, Dean. I'll see you next time. Okay.
Bye bye. 我爱你.
Okay. 你是个好人. Interesting. Yeah, I've never seen that actually said that way. It's a bit negative now. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, but I've actually never even heard that compliment before. That's why I was confused. 你是个好人. 这是普通的吗？我不知道，我还没听这个。Anyway, yeah, he's doing well. He's doing well, but I think it's really important, in the beginning, you have to really stay humble and you have to remember that you have so much more to go, right? I think I wish I would have known that when I was younger. When I was a young drummer, I was always trying to show people what I could do. And it was because I was desperate for people to pay attention to me, to give me some credit. I didn't have confidence, so I would show off to try to get people to give me compliments so that I could feel better, And I'm not saying that's what he's doing, but I'm saying that that's common when you're young and you're trying to learn something new. It's common to try to get people to recognize you. But really, I think that you need to just keep your head down and remember that in the first few years of learning anything, nothing you do is that impressive. And I think it's good to think that way, because don't be too full of yourself. It takes a long time to be good at something. It takes a long time to be good at something. All right? Yes, that's right. It is a very difficult language. I won't say it's the most difficult, but it's a very difficult language. Okay? Anyway. All right. Who else wants to come talk to me? Raise your hand if you want to come talk to me. Hello, Julio over there. Julio Rene Zapon. Hola. And Indu wants to come talk to me. Let's talk to Indu from India. Hello, Indu.
Hello. Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
How are you?
I'm good too. And you're in India, in what city?
I'm from Tamil Nadu, Chennai.
Okay. All right. Tamil Nadu. All right. Chennai. All right. And how can I help you today?
I've been learning English, but still I'm not able to be fluent. How much time do I need to spend every day to become fluent?
The rest of your life.
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Learning is a continuous process.
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
accept.
Okay, I know what you want, though. I know what you want. But Indu, the thing about fluency that you don't understand is that fluency is something that you can practice without writing, without reading, without speaking, or without listening. And that's the one practice that this is the one kind of practice you're not doing, and that's why you don't feel fluent. So let me ask you a question. Every day when you go to the market, what language do you think in? Tamil?
I speak my mother tongue. Yes, Tamil.
Right. Okay. And when you go to the park, what language do you think in? Not speak, think. Tamil. Right?
Again,
And when
yes.
and when you make breakfast and when you make dinner and you make lunch, you think Tamil, right? That's the problem.
Yes.
That's the problem.
Okay.
When I make breakfast, I think in Chinese. When I watch TV, I think in Chinese. When I go to the store, I think in Chinese. So that's why I can use Chinese.
I have to think in English.
Yeah,
right?
you need to think in English. If you spend time thinking in English, then you'll feel confident about the language and your words will be ready. And then when you need to speak, you'll feel like, oh, I know how to say this because I've already thought about it. Okay, that's the secret. Is
Okay.
that language has to get into your mind, and if it doesn't get into your mind, then you didn't really learn it. I wish someone would have told me that many years ago.
Okay.
Many years ago, I learned German for 3 years, and I can't remember almost any of it. And that's why, because I never, ever learned how to think in German. I was always thinking in English and just translating everything into German. That doesn't work. No, you have to learn how to think in that language. So just start thinking all the simple things, Indu. You don't have the same level of ability, right? Your native mind is way up here and your English mind is down here. So you can't have every thought, not yet, right? But there are many thoughts down here that you can have. You can have simple thoughts like
Yeah.
I'm hungry, I'm tired, I'm sad, or I like this, I don't like that, I need this, I don't need that. Those are simple thoughts. They're way down here. That's easy. Right? You can think things like, who is that? Oh, it's my neighbor. What is he doing? Oh, he's trimming his garden. Why is he trimming his garden? Oh, his flowers are too big. Whatever. You're thinking simple thoughts and you're answering simple thoughts, right? You can do that. That's all down here. All right? And the more you do, the more your brain will feel comfortable with the language. And you'll find many things that you don't know how to say. You'll walk around and you'll say, oh, look, that thing there, I don't know how to say that in English. I need to know how to say that. So this is a great way to improve your language because you'll walk around all day and you'll find things that you don't know how to say. You just look around the room and say, I don't know how to say that. I don't know how to say that. I don't know how to say that. Okay? And then write it down and that's your homework. Okay? And then if you do this, I think do this for 3 months or 6 months or even 1 year, and you will feel confident after that. Okay?
Okay.
And that's the great part about this is that you don't have to spend extra time studying. You don't need to spend more time studying. You need to spend more time living the language.
Okay.
Understand?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
So far, I been received the feedback like you need to spend time on reading, writing, listening.
Yeah, you do
and,
need to spend time on those too.
No one has told me that you have to think in English.
Right. Yeah, that's why I've got followers. Because Indu, if you notice behind me, I'm a drummer.
Thank you so much.
I'm a drummer and I'm a musician, and musicians do the
Okay,
same
that's
thing.
interesting,
Yeah, we practice music in our head. So, Indu, I learned a little bit of Indian music a long time ago. I learned some Indian music, right? So I learned the tala, right? Takadimi, takadimi,
Which one?
takada, takada, ta,
Okay.
right? You know that?
Carnatic.
Takadimi. Yeah, the
Yes.
tala, right? You know, takadimi.
Carnatic.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And that's the same. Indian musicians are brilliant. They can think everything. They don't need to play it. They can think it. They can practice the music in their mind anytime they want, right? That's why they're so confident when they play, because they can think it first. So musicians, we do this. We practice in our mind. I would love to play the drums right now, but it's very late at night. I can't. My neighbors will be very angry. So I can practice, but I just practice in my mind. Okay? So language is the same.
Okay.
You can practice language anywhere. You just have to think it. And yeah, you're right. They never talk about this. Do you know why they never talk about this? Because you can't put it in a book. There's no exercise for practicing thinking. How do you test for it? You can't test to see if someone's thinking or not. So that's why they never mention it in school. But it is the most important part of language. 50% of your practice should be thinking practice. Okay?
Okay. And one more question. People say that every day you have to look at the mirror and you need to speak, so you'll become... what's your opinion on that?
Every day you need to look at the mirror and speak to yourself?
In front of the mirror.
You mean just to practice English more, or you mean because you can see yourself?
Yeah. You
Okay.
have to speak. You
Yeah.
have to practice English in
yeah.
front of the mirror, yes.
So here's what I will tell you. You do need to practice speaking as much as you can, and that is one way, but I'm going to give you 4. Number 1, first way is find a native speaker. right? So in your city, there might be a native speaker who you can practice with for 10 minutes. Do you know how to find them? It's very easy. If you find the food, you'll find the foreigner. So if you go to any country, if I want to find Mexican people, I go to where they have Mexican food, and there will be some Mexican people there. If I want to find French people, I go to where they have French food. If you want to find American people, you go to where they have American food, and you'll find some. And you can say, hey, can I buy you some French fries and practice my English with you for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that, right? That's one way. Or you can find them on HelloTalk. You can talk to them on HelloTalk. But Indu, if I go to your city, and I meet you, let me ask you a question. If I walk up to you and the first thing I do is just this, hello, and that's all I do, I don't say anything more, that will be strange, right? Right?
Yes.
Yeah, if I don't introduce myself, I don't say anything, I don't tell you who I am or where I'm from or why I'm there, that's weird, right? Well, people do that on HelloTalk every day. You wave to me and you say hi, but you don't tell me who you are, you don't tell me where you're from, you don't tell me what you're doing, what you need, why you like me, why you're interested in me, nothing. You need to have a good introduction. If you're learning a language, the very first thing you should learn how to say well is a good introduction. Hello, my name is blah, blah, blah. I'm from blah, blah, blah. I read your profile and I see you like cooking. I like cooking too. What's your favorite recipe? That's a good introduction. That will get a reply. Okay. You have to write something interesting. You have to write a good introduction and then you might get a reply. Okay. And then you have to write a lot of people. You can't just write 5. You have to write 100 and then maybe 5 will reply and be nice. Okay. Then step 2 is if you can't find a native speaker, find other people like you, Indu. Non-native speakers like you who live in your city and they want to practice their English too. Okay. Now, they might not be perfect, but they're still good, right? So maybe your friend, maybe her grammar is not very good, but yours is. And maybe her vocabulary is better than yours. So you guys can help each other, right? So first, try to find a native speaker. Second, try to find a non-native speaker. But if you can't find a non-native speaker, another Indian to practice with, then I want you to find somebody who knows nothing and teach them. Teach your mom, teach your dad, teach your nephew, teach your niece, teach your daughter, teach your son. Teach someone, because teaching is some of the best practice you can do. When you teach someone, you have to explain it. And if you can't explain it, then you don't know it. Right? So that's why teaching is really a great form of practice, right? So that's step 3 is teach someone. And then finally, step 4, yes, if you can't find a native speaker to practice with and you can't find a non-native speaker to practice with and you can't find someone to teach, then yes, I want you to look at the mirror and talk to the mirror. I want you to watch TV and just talk to the TV, like whatever's in your head that you're thinking, oh, he's cute. Say it. Just say whatever you're thinking about the TV show or movie. Say it out loud, right? If you have a dog or a cat, talk to your pet, talk to your dog, talk to your bird. Okay? I used to speak Chinese to my dog, and he would come, I would say lai lai lai, and that means come, come, come. And he knew that in Chinese. So, speak. The point is, I gave you 4 ways to practice your English, right? Native speaker, non-native speaker, teach someone, and then, just talk to the walls. It doesn't matter. Just talk to someone. Talk to the, anything. Okay, the mirror. Sure. Okay?
What is the strategy to remember vocabulary?
The strategy to remember vocabulary is the same strategy that you need to remember a person. So if I meet you in India, if I'm in India and I walk down the street and I see you and you see me, but we don't wave to each other, you're not going to remember me. Okay, but if I wave to you and I say hello, you might remember me for a few days or a day or two, right? If I wave to you and I say hello and I introduce myself and I say, oh, hi, my name's Mark, nice to meet you, you might remember me for a month or two, or maybe even 3 or 4. But if we go have lunch and talk for an hour or two, you will remember me, won't you?
Yes.
Words and people are the same. The more time you spend with them, the more questions you ask about them, the more you will remember them. So when you meet me, you're going to ask me, where are you from? Well, guess what? You can ask where words are from too, right? So Indu, the word shampoo, what is shampoo?
The one which we use it to clean our hair.
That's right. But where does that word come
liquid.
from?
Yeah.
Where does the word shampoo come from?
I have no idea.
It comes from Hindi. In Hindi, the word shampoo
Okay.
means to massage. So,
Hey, that's so interesting.
yeah, English words come from someplace. You're right. That's interesting. Now you're going to remember the word shampoo because now you know where it comes from, right? So the word school comes from German. In German, the word school is Schule. Okay, the word book in German is Buch. Kindergarten. What does kindergarten mean? Kinder in German means children. Garten means garden. So a kindergarten is a school for children, right? And in German, it means
Yeah.
a garden for children, like a place where the children grow. Okay? That's
Okay.
interesting, right? If you find out where the words come from,
Yeah.
then you'll find out. Like the word restaurant, the word restaurant, right? We all know what a restaurant is, right? That's a French word.
Yes.
That's a French word. And
French.
it comes from, the original word was, it comes from a word that means to restore your energy. To restore you, to make you feel better. Why? Because that's what restaurants were. Restaurants were a place where you were tired and hungry and you would go there to eat something and feel restored. So restaurant, restore, restaurant, it restores you.
Okay.
Right? You'll remember that now because it's an interesting story, right? So if you ask the words where they come from and you ask the words, do you have any brothers and sisters? Like, you know the word happy, right, Indu? You know the word happy, but do you know the word jubilant?
Yes.
The word jubilant means happy.
Okay.
Okay?
Jubilant. Okay, right.
Yeah, or how about the word sad? You know sad, but do you know the word melancholy? It means sad.
No.
Right? So that's like a cousin or a brother or sister of that word, right? So, you know, if you met me, you would say, do you have any brothers and sisters? And I'd say, yeah, I've got an older brother and a younger sister. You can ask the words if they have brothers and sisters too. You know, do you have any words? Are there any words that mean almost the same as you? That's a brother or sister or cousin. Okay? Right? So that's the secret to words and remembering them, Indu, is the reason you forget them is when you study them, you're just memorizing them. And memorizing is boring, and it's kind of like you just waved at me on the street, but you didn't talk to me. So that's why you forget me, because you didn't actually talk to me or interact with me. But if you sit down and just talk to the word for a couple of minutes, and I know some of you think that sounds like too much work, but it's really not. It's really not. It's such an effective system that you will remember these words because they have cool stories.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. And can you suggest some reliable sources to find out? Or because in YouTube's or Google, if I type,
Can I give you some
I'll get the
reliable
information.
sources?
There will be plenty of information.
So reliable sources for
which one
English?
will- yeah.
Okay.
To find out the meaning of words and as
okay,
you said,
okay, yeah. I've got that.
synonyms.
I've got that for you. There's a website. There's a free website. It's called etymonline.com. Okay, Etum
Okay,
Online.
you're typing?
Yeah, I'm typing it here. EtumOnline.com. They have an app too. I use it on my phone
Yeah.
all the time. It's a free app right here, Etum Online. And it's a dictionary, and it's an etymology dictionary. Now, it's a little advanced, but you're advanced enough, I think it'll be okay. Right? And you'll see the word, and it'll tell you
Okay.
what year the word comes from and what languages it starts from. So, for example, some words, it's an English word now, but it was a French word. But before it was French, it was Latin before that. Right? Or there are some words that are English, and then they were French, and before that they were Arabic, and before that they were Persian, and before that they were Sanskrit. Right? So the words come from many places. English words especially come from many places. We have words from Latin, Greek, German, French, Spanish, Italian, Chinese, Japanese, Hindi, Persian, Arabic. We have words from all those languages. That's one of the reasons why English is difficult. Because we have so many words from so many languages, it gets confusing. The spellings and the pronunciations and the grammar, it's all very strange because it's such a mix of many languages. Okay?
Right. And do I have to learn phonetics? Or
I think it's very useful. Well, no. Phonetics, not so much. Phonics, yes. Okay, so phonetics is more like the IPA, right? Many people find the IPA system useful to learn. I think it's too much work. I think it's overthinking. Now, if you are that kind of person, if you're an overthinking kind of a person, then maybe the IPA is perfect for you. But if you're not that kind of person, then I think it's too much work. And no natives know the IPA. If you come to America and you ask a native English speaker here about the IPA, they will have no idea what you're talking about. Okay? So phonics, though, phonics is how we learn, and that's how you should learn too. Phonics is about how do you pronounce these sounds, right? A, E, I, O, U, A, E, I, right? And then you can learn how to practice all of them that way. Okay? Okay, Indu?
okay. So how do you learn the sounds?
Well, it would be best if you had a teacher. That would certainly help. But if you're not going to have a teacher, then you can look online and type in a search for phonics websites. You know, maybe interactive phonics websites. Okay, and look for that. I don't have any off the top of my head, but I'm sure there are some. Okay. You know, I have a system that I do. You can follow me here, and every once in a while I do a pronunciation live stream. I don't do it too often, but I do one every once in a while, and I have a whole system for practicing phonics. Okay?
Okay. Right. And about grammar?
What about it?
Do you have to work on grammar every day, or do you have to learn phrases?
It depends on what your purpose is in language learning. If you want to take the IELTS test, then yeah, you need to study grammar every day, a lot. Okay? But if you're just trying to learn for travel, or you're just trying to learn to play video games, or just to have conversations, no, it's not that important. Life is not a grammar test. You know, when you're trying to communicate with people, it's bad etiquette to correct people. Okay. So when I'm having a conversation with somebody who doesn't speak English, I'm a teacher. If they ask me as a teacher to correct them, then I will. But if I'm just talking to somebody and they don't know I'm a teacher, I'm not going to correct them. Because it's not about correcting them. They're trying to talk to me. I should just be listening and try to just have a conversation, right? So language is about communication and expression, not about perfection. So just don't worry too much about that, okay? You know, again, it depends on what your purposes are. If you need your language, maybe you're, if you're a lawyer or an assistant lawyer or something, right? A paralegal, then yeah, your grammar needs to be really good for that kind of job, right? But if you're just learning English to talk with friends on Hello Talk, then keep working on it, but don't stress out about it. Because there's one thing about grammar.
Okay.
Sometimes you guys are worried about your grammar, like the grammar is the problem. But sometimes the problem becomes you worry so much about grammar that's the problem. You're worried now. And when you're worried, you can't speak well, right? So if you worry too much about the grammar, then you'll be too nervous and you won't speak well. Okay?
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And today, it's really interesting to know so many things, and your session is so good.
Thank
you
you
so much. You're really a great teacher.
Thank you very much. I love teaching. So thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Well, Indu, come back and see me again sometime, okay?
Okay. Thank you. Have
Bye-bye.
a great day.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Dean. 现在这是英文课，所以你需要用英文。Okay? You can practice your Chinese another time. This is not the place. Okay? Come on, you know that, Dean. This is a place where this is my classroom and I'm trying to teach people, man. Don't distract my audience. Okay? Come on. All right. I have a little more time. Let's try to help somebody else here. Who's next? Let's do Ruby, and then we'll do... Oh, no, I think I sent the invitation to the wrong person. Who did I invite? Ruby, give me a minute, and I'll get to you in just a second. I accidentally invited the wrong person. Sorry about that. Okay. Hello to... Who is that in China?
My name is Henem, teacher. Hello, teacher.
Hello, Hanan. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
And where are you in China?
I am in Xinjiang.
Okay, cool. And what can I do for you today? How can I help you?
I just ask. I'm a beginner in English. I know a lot of words and slangs, but in the truly communication, I don't express myself to other people. It's wrong.
Okay, so you just you have a hard time trying to make the Chinese in your head into English sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so difficult for me. Teacher, help me. What can I
understand.
do?
So again, the reason why I have so many followers here is because of one simple idea that I talk about all the time. Every time I do a live stream and every time I do a voice room, someone asks me a question and I have to tell them that the secret, the one thing that they are not doing that they need to do, is you need to practice thinking with English more. You don't use your English mind enough, and that's why you're uncomfortable talking. Okay? But if you use the language in your mind more, then you will feel more comfortable talking. So really, here's the thing. You need experience, and there are two ways to get it. All right? When you do a language, there are two ways to get experience. One is by doing it. Reading, writing, listening, and speaking, right? Go out there and do it. That's one way to get experience. But there's another way to get experience. That's just by thinking in that language. And that's just as good. Okay? So I live in America, but I practice my Chinese every day because I try to think in Chinese every day when I do normal things. Okay, so if I watch TV, I try to think in Chinese. If I cook my dinner, I try to think in Chinese. Maybe not the whole time, maybe just some of the time, right? You know, if I go to the store, maybe I'm at the store and I want to buy some bananas and they don't have any bananas, and I'll just think in my head, oh, 这个是买完了，为什么? You know, I'll just think something simple like that, you know, or something will be expensive and I'll just look at it and be like, oh, 这是太贵了. You know, right? And that's all you have to do is every day when you take a shower in the morning, think in English. When you're making breakfast, think in English. English, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, English. When you get up in the morning, English. When you go to the park, English. When you go to the store, English. When you watch TV, English. As much as you can. And there will be many things that you don't know how to say. Okay? And so when you find something you don't know how to say, 你需要写，这是你的功课。
Oh.
Understand? So
Yeah.
every day I walk around and I say 这个什么说，这个什么说，不知道，不知道，不知道。我写。
写下来。
Yeah, you have to write it down and then find it later.
Record it.
Yeah, write it down so you can find it later. I don't know how to say this in Chinese. Let me find it. I will find out how to say that in Chinese later. Okay? But this is a great way to practice. Okay? And that's the secret of feeling more confident about your language. I don't have to think about my Chinese most of the time. Okay, sometimes I do. If it's a new thing, it's very different. Maybe I need to think about my Chinese a little more. But if it's not, then it's just using common language about common things, then I usually can just speak. And the reason why is because I use it in my daily life. Okay?
Yeah, you're true. But I think if you don't think one day after 2 days, I think my English is so poor. I started from zero. It's so difficult.
No. 这是手掌相巧. You just need to practice every day. You need to practice. That's
Every day.
Yes, but that's why I told you. That's why I said make things like when you get up in the morning to get ready, that's English time. Why? Because you do it every day, so make that consistent English practice time. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you do that every day, so make that English time, and then you're doing it every day. Get it? You understand? I'm choosing things that you have to do anyway. Just try to find 5 minutes when you think about those things in Chinese. Okay, that's all. I'm sorry, in English for you. And for you in English. Yeah. But that's the secret. That really is the secret. And that's the reason why so many people struggle to practice their language. Because you think you have to find somebody to practice with, but you really don't. You don't need anyone to practice with. And that's the other reason I love thinking, is because sometimes when you guys practice your English, you're nervous because you think people are going to be judging you, right? They're going to be listening to you and say, oh, it's not good. Well, guess what? When you practice it in your mind, there's no one there. So that means there's no one to make fun of you. There's no one to be nervous about. You can just practice the language and figure it out. Right? Yeah. And if it's not perfect, that's okay. That's okay. Okay?
Sometimes I think my English is so good. It's so easily for me. I'm totally express myself, and the communication is so easy. I can say what I want. But sometimes, it's definitely so difficult.
Well, okay, let me give you one more tip. I want you to go to a website. I don't know if you're going to need a VPN or not. I don't think you do, but the website is called iteslj.org. If you go to this website and you click on the button that says questions, they have a button that says questions. And on that, there's a big menu of topics, many topics like, here, let me share it. I'm just going to show you. I'm going to pull it up and I'll show you on my screen, okay? What this website looks like. Let's see. I'll show everybody. iteslj.org. Okay, so let me share my screen. I'll show you what it looks like, or what it should look like when you open it. Okay, here is the website, okay? ITESLJ. This is actually a website for English teachers. It's not actually supposed to be for students. But this, right here in the middle, questions. Click on this, and look at all these topics, right? Look at all these topics here. Wow, look at all these topics. Now, guess what? Let's click on one of these topics, like anger. Let's click on anger. Whoops. Let's try that again. Hold on.
Anger.
Look, yeah, so here's anger. What are the causes of anger? Are there different types of anger? What are various ways that people respond to anger? Here are a ton of questions that you can practice trying to think about.
Thank you so much, teacher. Yeah.
Okay, so you can go to this website and look, they've got stuff about garage sales and the future and art and religion and race and politics and the police and birthdays. There are difficult topics and there are simple topics, and there are hard questions and there are easy questions. And this is a great place to just go test yourself, test your ability, right? See what you can think about and see what you can't think about. See what you have the vocabulary for and see what you need to study. Okay?
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, teachers.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
No problem. Yeah, that's a great website. I use that website. I used to teach conversation classes with a group, and I used to just use this, and we would just go through the questions and ask everybody to practice their English using these questions. This is great. Yeah, and again, you can use these for writing practice. You can use these for thinking practice or speaking practice.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I will use it.
And
Thank
they
you.
and they
Thank
said
you.
it does work in China. So Ursula, somebody said it's not loading for me. Well, yeah, and remember, guys, you can't just click on the website on HelloTalk. You have to copy it and paste it into your browser. None of the links will just open from HelloTalk, okay? If you just copy it and paste it into your browser, it should work, okay? And yeah, again, it's right here, guys. Let me just give you the this page. Control C. There it is here. Lewis, yes, you can come on the stage. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I'm going to let you go, Hen, but thank you very much for coming, and come back and see me again sometime, and don't worry so much. Just practice thinking every day, okay?
Okay. I'll keep it. Yeah.
All right, take care. Jiao. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ursula says it's not working. Maybe it's not available everywhere. Maybe. Yeah, I know a lot about the world, but I don't know about how every country uses their internet. I don't know if everybody has restricted stuff or don't. I don't know. So let's see here. All right, Lewis, I'm going to get you on stage, and Ruby's been waiting a long time too, so I'm going to get Ruby up here, and I'll go ahead and bring Lewis up at the same time. Hello, Ruby. Thank you for being patient.
Hello.
How are you? Here, I'll turn off your camera for you. There, it's off.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Teacher, I have a question.
Okay, I have an answer.
I have a problem like a lot of people here. I can understand English very well, but when I wanted to speak, I'm struggling, and sometimes I forget word. You give us nice idea to think in English, but sometimes if you want to take your breakfast and you want to think in Chinese, for example, you forget some words, right? You go to dictionary to find these words.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, sure, of course.
How do you memorize this word?
You don't memorize them. You just use them until they become part of your lexicon. Lexicon means you know it. It's in your vocabulary. You can use it. Okay. But I also want to remind you that even a native speaker in any language, this is not a problem that exists only for people learning a new language. Even in your own language, we struggle sometimes to find the right words, or we struggle to remember some words. Okay, even in our native language, we sometimes do the same thing. All right. So, again, Ruby, that's why I recommend the thinking practice so much, because the secret is just familiarity. The more, like I said, you need experience with them. The more experience you have with them, the more likely you will remember them. And there are only two ways to get experience. One is through active practice, and the other is through passive thinking practice.
Okay, I have another question. You want to know every topic or each topic in Chinese, or you want specific things in this language? Because as you know, if you native speaker, you can understand everything for all topics, but you don't want to know about physics, about mathematics, right?
Right.
You,
Now, so first of all, I don't know. I am a native speaker, but I don't know about everything. I can't tell you about microbiology or about astrophysics in English. Okay. I don't know about I know just a little bit. I could read about it and maybe I could study it a little bit, but I can't explain it to you or have a conversation or teach that stuff. Right. So that's why this word fluent is such a stupid word, because it doesn't really exist. Nobody can talk about everything. Nobody's capable of being brilliant at discussing every topic in the world. That's God. So that's so that's why I'm saying everybody has their own vocabulary. That's true. There are certain people who will learn certain words because those are the words they feel are most valuable to them. Right. So as a musician, for example, I've learned a few words that are words that I would use to talk about drumming. I used to teach a Chinese kid drums. And sometimes I would just tell him things in Chinese because it was just easier. But I had to figure out what those words were. I had to be like, oh, well, that's interesting. How would I explain some drum stuff in Chinese? I had to find some special words to talk about it that I didn't know about. Right. A lot of them were common, but there were a few words that were specific to that thing. Right. So again, vocabulary is like your personal style. Right? The words you learn are the words you learn. Nobody else. Everybody has a unique set of vocabulary. We don't think about that, but it's true. Every single person on this planet knows a different set of words. Isn't that funny?
yeah.
I mean, it's true. We all know some of the same words, but everybody knows a few that will be just for you, right? Like, meaning that if you could write down the vocabulary words that everybody knows, everybody's going to have a different list.
Yes,
there will be many
that's
that
right.
are in common, but everybody's going to have a different list somehow, right?
I have another question. You usually thinking in Chinese, right?
I try as much as I can, yes.
Okay. You reach to level to dream in Chinese.
I have. Yeah, it's fun. Not all the time. You can't make yourself dream in a certain language, but yes, I've had a few dreams that have gone, like started English, but then there's like a Chinese part in it or something, or I'll be speaking Chinese when it's an English dream. It's weird. Yeah, it has happened to me, and that is a good sign when that happens, because that means that you're absorbing the language into your subconscious.
Okay, if you keep practice for this language, you will be like a native speaker.
No, I don't think I'll ever be like a native speaker. No. And that's okay. I think I will work on it for the rest of my life. But learning a language is like learning a musical instrument. There's a famous cellist. His name is Yo-Yo Ma. He's the most famous Chinese cellist of all time, right? And he's brilliant. There's nobody better. But I guarantee every single day he wakes up and he tries to get better. He's the best. He's the best in the world. Everybody thinks he's the best, except for one person. Him. So that's the secret of language. Is just like music. There is no end and there is no good enough. You just keep making it more and more musical, more and more beautiful each time. That's it. It's an art. And not everybody's good at it. Some people are really good at it and some people are not. It's a talent.
I noticed that each language, there is like music when you speak.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
English.
absolutely.
You're not like me.
Yeah, which is why again, I think musicians have an advantage in learning languages. Because language is like music. Almost all the same things that exist in music exist in language. Rhythm, tone, intonation, speed, volume, dynamics. All of those things are part of music and language.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, teacher.
You're welcome, and you sound great. Keep working on it, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, take care. Bye-bye. Okay, Lewis, I tried to bring you up. Lewis, what happened? Lewis, come on up, Lewis. Lewis, are you there? Hello, Lewis. Why is this not just... Stop sharing. You accepted. Well, something's weird then. And now, this is weird too. Confirm. Share. Stop sharing. Oh, something's weird. Can you guys see me? It's not letting me stop sharing. Like, I can't see my camera anymore. Let me try something. Camera. Let me... Well, looks like I'm having a technical problem here, guys. Your question is about how to pronounce R and L. Let me try it one more time, Lewis. Come on up, Lewis. I may have to leave and come back, guys, because this thing is acting weird. Let me try that very quickly. I'm gonna leave the room and come right back. Don't go anywhere. Just stay right here. There. Okay, finally. Sorry, guys, there was a weird problem. It wouldn't stop sharing my whiteboard. Okay, Lewis, I don't know why. Again, Lewis, I'm sending you the invitation. I don't know why you can't come up. I don't know what's going on, Lewis. Gavin, I'm going to try you. And Lewis, I'm going to keep inviting you. I've invited you a bunch of times. I don't know why it's not working. There's Gavin. Hello, Gavin.
Hi, hello.
How are you?
Teacher Mark. How are you?
I'm good. So very quickly, Gavin, let me try to answer a question here for Lewis about the R sound and the L sound. That is a common problem that many Chinese people have. But it's a problem that I don't always understand, Lewis, because the the American R sound is not that different than the Chinese number 2. So when you say 1, 2, 3, sun, 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 R. It's not that different than the sound of the word car, R. It's almost the same. Okay, so the R sound in English is almost like the number 2 in Chinese. Okay, and then the L sound is also very similar. If you say, when you go to the restaurant to order food and they ask you, Yao Lama, la. That's the L sound in English. That's exactly the same L sound. So the L sound is like the word spicy in Chinese. La. That's the L. That's it, right? And the R sound is just like the number 2 in Chinese. E-R. Yeah, it's close. Oh. It's not exactly the same, but it's pretty close. Yeah. Okay. So.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, so, Gavin.
I have a question.
Yeah, what can I do for you?
I have another question.
Go ahead.
Some people taught me when you listening English or speaking English, you should pay attention to the rhythm instead of the single syllable or the single word. Because in Chinese, every word is all the word it has the same song, same
Rhythm. Yeah, I think I know what you mean. I think I know what you mean, but
every word.
that's not entirely true. I mean, there's yao and shu yao. Right? That's two syllables and one syllable, and you know that. So it's there is some similarity in Chinese too. So, but let's see. How do I explain this? So yes, the rhythm of English or the rhythm of any language, every language has a certain kind of rhythm to it. Okay. And English is an interesting one because it has a lot of variety in the rhythm. Everybody can have their own rhythm. Some people speak very fast. Some people speak very slow. Some people have a certain sharpness to the way they speak, like everything is separated, and some people speak everything smoothly and together, right? So that is a unique thing, and there are no real rules to that, okay? What I will tell you is sometimes Chinese people do have trouble with when they speak. It's like they're saying every word separately, right? So here's what you can do. You have to practice like it's singing. Okay? When you sing a song,
English song.
or you don't have to you can sing an English song, but you can use anything. So for example, I'm going to show you a website, okay? I'm going to bring up a website. Let me show you here real quick. One moment. All right, so I'm going to show you this website, eslfast.com. It's a website, it's free, and it has a bunch of reading exercises here. So I'm going down here to this English level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, right? So I'm just going to choose one of these. We'll go level 3, okay? So here are a bunch of stories. These are short stories on this website, okay? So I'm going to choose one of these, right? I'm just going to choose, let's see, this one, Meeting the Guys, okay? Whoops. Okay, so here is the first sentence, right? Jason made a new friend. Now, when I just said that, everything was separated. Jason was a new friend. But you don't want to say it like that, right? You want to say it together. So you take a deep breath and you start with the breath before the word Jason, and then you say all those words with one breath. Jason made a new friend. It's the secret is think about where you take a breath. That's the secret, right? Every word shouldn't have a space in between. Only the periods should have a space between. So, Jason made a new friend. His name is Daniel. Daniel only has one arm. He lost it in a car accident as a child. Do you see what I'm doing? Right? So I take a deep breath and then I try to say all the words in one sentence. Okay? Right? And you can do this. You can do this like singing. Just choose one pitch, right? So Jason made a new friend. His name is Daniel. Daniel only has one arm. When you sing, the words come together smoothly. If you sing, you're not going to say, Daniel has only one arm. You're not going to do that, right? You're going to sing it like one thing, right? So singing is a technique that can help you to learn how to get all the words to come out smoothly with a nice rhythm. Okay. And then this website also has a recording up here where you can listen to a native speaker who will read this for you. And you can listen to them, the way they read it, to hear how the words are supposed to go. right? Which words go together, right? Which words don't go together, right? There is a certain way to group words, right? That you should say them as groups, right? So,
Okay.
yeah. And again, you just need good practice. This website is a great website. It has about 3,000 short stories that are all very easy, right? None of them are hard. They're all beginner to intermediate level. Nothing is advanced. So it's a great place to just go practice your listening, your speaking, your rhythm, right? So, Gavin, you sound good, by the way. Okay, I think your English is pretty good. So that means that
Thank you.
when
Thank
you
you.
reach a high level, it's very important to go back to the beginning and start again and look at things differently, right? So when you learn a language in the beginning, everything is new, so everything is hard, and you just do the best you can. But once you get to an advanced level, you can go back to the beginning and look at things again, and now you have a whole new way to look at them. So you know all these words, you already know all the vocabulary, you know all the grammar. So now you can look at the rhythm. You can work on other things, right? You can work on harder things that you couldn't work on when you were a beginner, right? That was too hard.
Okay.
But now you're advanced. So that's the paradox is once you get to be really good at something, the great masters, they go back to the beginning again. They go back to the rudiments and they see how they can make it better with their new eyes, their new advanced eyes. Okay? So that's what you should do is go back and use a site like this and work on things like reading and listening and find the rhythm of the language. And remember that it's, again, like music. There is no right and wrong, Gavin.
Yeah.
Becoming a musician is about finding your voice. Same with becoming a language learner, right? Eventually, we want to sound like Gavin. You want to sound like Gavin. I want to sound like me, right? So eventually, that's what we're trying to do is be you. That's your voice. That's the way you speak. Okay.
Okay.
All
I
right.
appreciate your advice.
You're welcome.
Thank
You're
you
welcome.
very much.
Do you have any other questions for me?
In Chinese, there are so many words sound one sound.
Yeah. I know.
But in English, one word
Can have
sound
many meanings.
mostly unique sound. So when we talk in Chinese, we need hear the
Whole thing.
whole sentence.
Yeah. Context. Yeah, I know.
But in English, in English we listen a word. It's a word. Simple. There is seldom the same sound. The various.
In the same sentence.
okay.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Right. So like, Gavin, I remember practicing the Chinese tongue twister, right? Like, shi, 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 right? Right. And,
Yes.
and when you're practicing English, you're right. There's nothing quite the same as that. But for example, we do have some words that are like that. For example, the word there. We have THERE, THEIR, and THEY''re. And all three sound exactly the same, and all three are common words. So you could have all three of those in one sentence, and it might be a little hard or confusing if you don't pay attention to context. The context is also important. The same with the word your, right? Your could be Y-O-U-R, or it could be Y-O-U''re. If I just say your, you don't know which one it is, right? If I say that's your book, now you know which one it is, right?
So
Context
So it
is
takes-
important in English too, but not as important as Chinese for that reason that you just said. You're right. Chinese is one of those ones where the way the word order is, you sometimes have to listen to the whole thing to figure out what they're trying to say. Sometimes.
Yeah.
But sometimes I do the same thing, though. Sometimes, when I was learning Chinese at first, my listening was still not that good. My listening is still not great, to be honest with you. But I will hear what you say, and I'll recognize about 60% of it, maybe 70% if I'm lucky. And that's enough. But when I was younger, when I was learning earlier, it was like maybe 30%. But I would still try to guess what you're trying to say, right? I would use that 30% and I'd be like, I think I know what he's probably saying. I would try to use logic to try to guess what you're saying, So, yeah, it takes practice, Gavin. It takes practice and time, but you'll get there. You'll get there. Okay?
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right. Anything else I can do for you, my friend? Do you have any other questions or anything else I can help you with? No? What happened? Did I lose you, Gavin? Uh-oh.
No, I'm here.
Oh, there you are. There you are. Okay. Do you have any other questions for me, Gavin?
No, I haven't.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
very
It was
much.
nice to talk to you, and come back and see me again, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay. You can't hear the voice in every room? No, I don't know what happened to you, Najib. Ask HelloTalk. Send HelloTalk a message and tell them that you're having trouble. Okay? I don't know why. Okay. Wow, it's getting late. It's almost midnight. But I'm going to try to help one more person. Let's try to help Maria. Maria, do you want some help? Hello, Maria.
Hello.
Hola.
Oh, thank you.
How are you?
Hola. I'm fine, thank you.
Good. And you're in Brazil where? Are you in Sao Paulo, Rio? Where?
Yes, I'm in the Sao Paulo state, but I'm from Chile.
Okay. Oh, okay. You're from Chile.
I'm Chilean.
Okay. Okay, cool. All right. So what can I do for you today? How can I help you?
Well, I think it's not the first time that I talk to you. I don't know, but I had another account, but this is a new account, and I
Okay.
think that we talk.
I think I
feel-
remember you. Yeah, I vaguely remember you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I think so. And so I'm so happy to see you again. And your class is very nice. It's very funny.
Thank
I can
you.
understand everything.
Good.
And now when I try to speak, sometimes now, well, I have living here for 2 years, and now I speak Portuguese too. And I feel so confused sometimes when I try to speak in English because I think in Portuguese too.
Yeah. That's normal. When you start trying to learn more than one language, it's totally normal for them to get confused sometimes, especially sometimes you're learning languages that are similar to each other, right? If you learn Portuguese and Spanish or Portuguese and Italian, there are a lot of things that are very similar. You might get confused, So it's normal. It's normal if you're learning more than one language to get confused by them. That's not a problem. That's just the way it is. And there is no solution for that. You just have to understand that you know more than one language. That's a lot of information in your brain. It's sometimes hard to keep it all together, That's why I'm so impressed by people who know more than one language. If you know 2 languages or 3 languages or 4 languages or 5 languages, your brain is amazing. Your brain is amazing. If there are people who know 5 languages, that's amazing to me.
I feel so proud of myself, and I have 2 children. They also speak in English
Good
and
for you.
Portuguese, and
That's
I feel
awesome.
so proud
You
of them
should.
too.
You should be proud of yourself
and-
and them.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I have problem with phrasal verbs. To me, it's very confused, the phrasal verbs. I prefer use the regular verbs.
Yeah,
And
phrasal verbs are hard.
When
Those are one of the hardest things in English. They really are. Because the reason why phrasal verbs are hard is because there is no rule system for them. There's no logic to them. Phrasal verbs are things I call them improvised language, which means they just happen one day, right? So, somebody said, get on the bed. Somebody said, get out of my room. Somebody said, get through this breakup. Somebody said, get with the times. Somebody just put those words together one time and now it's a thing. Okay, that's improvised language. And they are difficult because sometimes the meanings, it has the word get in it, but then the next word makes it a completely different meaning now, right? But that is my recommendation of how you should learn phrasal verbs is, one, you should learn all the ones that have the same word related, right? So get in, get on, get through, get over, get with, whatever. And then, you can do things like take, right? Take out, take over, take through, take in, take it, whatever. All the ones with take in them, all the ones with get in them, all the ones with just start that way. And then you should treat them kind of like you do idioms. Just do a few a day or a few a week, right? And don't do too many because, like I said, there is no pattern really or system or logic to them necessarily. The best you can do is the pattern I told you, which is just to learn them in groups that have the same word. Right? But even that is interesting because, like I said, there will be two different phrases with the same root word, but completely different meanings because of the phrasal verb. Right? They are hard. They're difficult. They definitely are hard.
They are.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you'll get it. You'll get it, Maria. If you're worried about phrasal verbs, then your English is really good.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So that means you're doing well.
Well, I haven't practiced this. I think almost 1 year that I didn't spoke with somebody
Oh, really?
in English.
Okay.
But yeah, and sometimes I forget some words. Yeah.
So did you hear did you hear the advice? Did you hear the advice I gave earlier about what's the most important way to practice English? It's not reading.
Sorry,
It's not.
Can you repeat that?
Yeah. Earlier, I told them there's one way to practice English that's the most important way. And it's not reading. It's not writing. It's not listening. And it's not speaking. Do you know what it is? It's thinking.
No.
It's thinking. Maria.
Thinking in English.
Yeah. So you don't have to speak it for a year, but you do have to think it. Okay, so like they tell people if you don't use your language, you will lose your language. If you don't use it, you'll lose it. If you don't use it, you'll lose it, right? And that's true.
Yeah.
But you can use it without opening your mouth. Just by thinking. Okay? That's how you keep language fresh. It's just by the language can live in your mind.
I think that's true because when I start to learn English and I start to speak better, I pray in English.
Right.
It was so,
you pray in English.
It was so weird for me, but when I pray in English, and for me for me was like, oh my God, I'm praying in English.
Okay,
But,
that's good. That means you can. It's
you
like
are right.
it's
You are right.
It's if you can pray in English, then you can think in English. And that's why I tell people when you wake up in the morning and you get ready, and you're getting in the bathroom and you're brushing your teeth and getting your hair ready, that's now English thinking time. Why? Because you do that every day. You wake up every morning and you get ready, so make that a consistent place where you can practice English. When you make breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you do that every day. Find a way to make that English thinking practice too. You go to the market a couple times a week, probably, maybe more. Use that time to try to think in English as much as you can. When you go to the park, if you're watching TV or movies, try to spend a few minutes thinking in English. I don't do it the whole time, right? It's Saturday night, I'm watching a movie, I want to relax. I don't want to practice or think or study. I'm just trying to relax. But I will still try to just have a few simple thoughts in Chinese. Nothing that makes it hard for me, but just something simple that I can just keep the language going. That's all. It's Maria, it's kind of like when you start a fire, right? Like a campfire. If you have a campfire, when you go camping, you want to keep the fire going. You have to, if you let the fire die out, then the fire dies, and that's not good. So you have to find a way to keep the fire going just a little bit. Your mind will keep that ember. That ember is that little red coal, the red hot thing that keeps it burning. Your mind will allow you to keep the language burning, okay?
My daughter, she calls, her name is Amber.
Ah, that's funny. Yeah, okay, yeah. And the word I said is almost the same. The word I said is ember, Ember. And Amber is a girl's name, or it's the name of ancient sap from the trees, right? The sap from the trees, we call that amber, right? But the word ember, Ember, an ember is
it's a color too.
Yeah, it's a color. That's right. An ember, Ember, is the ember is the thing that is in the fire,
Yes,
right? The things
I
that
know
keep
what
things
is the
fire
ember
going.
because I decide to call her Amber because it's the significate is very nice. It means precious. I don't know how to say rock.
A precious rock. Yeah, that's right. Amber.
But it's
It's a beautiful one.
And
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Another thing that I want to tell you is it is neurociencia. They say if you don't use, you lose.
That's right.
And it is true.
Yeah.
This is true.
But I'm telling you, you don't have to lose it if you just think.
20 years. When I was 20 years old, now I am 45.
Mm-hmm.
No. Now I am 41.
Okay.
And when I was 20 years old, I spoke in French, and I was fluently.
Wow.
And now I don't remember.
Well,
because I never practiced.
you can get that back too. After you learn your English and you work on your Portuguese some more, you can get that back too. If you just remember this trick, next time you brush up on your French, you just need to remember to every once in a while practice your French. Parlez-vous français? Okay.
I don't have a French friend. I don't have, and that was
just think.
One of my because my mind is confused. That was one of my wait. Let me think about it.
Okay, take your time. It's okay.
One of the I always want to move to my country because I was living in a very small city.
Mm-hmm.
13 mile people.
Okay.
No, 13,000 mile people. Yeah, 13,000 people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's very small.
Okay.
And I always wanted to move because I didn't have chance to practice French and chance to practice English because there are only people from that place. And one of my big goals was go to other place, and now I come true that dream. That was one of my dreams.
Good for
Do you
you.
understand?
Yeah, I do. I do. That's great. Again, I think that you're doing really well. Just, Maria, you know more than one language. You even forgot a language already. So that's amazing. You've learned a lot. So keep working on what you're doing. You sound good. Practice thinking, and then you'll be good. I promise you. Once you know that one idea, and now you can take that idea and use it for your Portuguese, your English, your French, anything. Okay? You just have to keep the language up here. That's the most important part of language. Up there. Okay?
Yeah. I'm going to start to think more in English and in French. I don't remember French. I remember some words.
You can do
like, bonjour.
Yeah, bonjour. Je m'appelle
Jose.
Maria. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it'll come back to you. It'll come back to you. Okay. All right, Maria, I'm going to let you go. But thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I'll see you next time. Okay.
Thank you, Mark.
All right.
You are invited to Brazil. This is the best the best country in the world.
I wish I could. One day I would love to go to Brazil. It's definitely some place that I've always wanted to go. I love Brazilian food. When I used to study Brazilian music, Antonio Carlos Jobim, bossa nova, samba. I love all that stuff. So I would love to go down there and eat the food and listen to the music and everything.
Have you visited Brazil?
Never, but I would love to one day.
Have you visited Brazil?
Not yet.
You're gonna love Brazil.
I know.
The people in Brazil
I'm sure.
is amazing. I love
sure.
Brazil.
I'm sure. Good for you. I'm glad.
I love Brazil.
One day I'll go to Chile too. Okay, Maria.
Chile, my country, but Brazil is amazing.
Okay.
It's totally different.
All right. Well, good. I hope
Thank
I can
you,
see
Mark.
both. Okay. Take care,
God
Maria.
bless you.
Thank you. See you next
Take
time.
care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. Let's see. I think he's not here anymore. Let me check to see if this person is still here. Some people really make me scratch my head. I think he's gone. Thank God. We had a child in the room. I don't have time for children. Anyway, yeah, he's gone. I was about to remove somebody, but I guess he left because he was a child. Anyway, all right, guys, it's midnight. I gotta go. It's midnight. I've been here for 2 hours. I'm sorry, but it's time for me to take a break. Okay? So I have a stream in the morning. If you want to come back and see me again in the morning, you can. All right? Daniel, if you want listening tips, you can go to my YouTube channel and watch some of my videos there. Okay, I have 77,000 followers here. I give tips about listening, writing, reading, speaking, grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation. I give all kinds of tips. It's all on my YouTube channel. Okay, go watch some streams. If you watch one of my streams, I promise you that you will get at least 3 tips that you've not heard before. If you just watch one of my live streams from the beginning to the end, I promise you'll get 3 tips you have not heard before. All right? At least 3. Okay, guys, I really do need to go. I'm tired. It's midnight. Okay? Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for participating and following. Make sure you do follow me. Come back and see me again. All right? I'll see you guys next time. Have a good morning. Have a good afternoon. Have a good evening. Be good. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, everyone. My YouTube is right here. There it is. Copy it, paste it, take a picture, do something. Thank you, Zane. I appreciate that. All right. Take care, guys. See you next time. Bye.